Hey guys, happy Tuesday. Time for Tidbit Tuesdays. Okay, so this week I want to talk about a little bit of a unique situation that people don't think about when their kids go off to college. So, if you have employer-based health care, usually have a PPO. Sometimes you don't, you have an HMO. But people don't think about coverage for their student if they're going out of state or even far away across the state. Texas is a big state. Um, so how does that work? So if you have marketplace coverage, those coverages are very specific to zip code. You get coverage maybe a county or two over, depending which coverage you have. Some of the EPOs will have coverage in all their networks. But generally, what happens is if you have a student that is going out of state, the only coverage you're going to have for that student is emergency coverage. And I mean true emergency ER. Not they have a sinus infection, they go to the ER over the weekend. That's not covered even when you're here. You shouldn't use the ER unless it's a true emergency. But what a lot of schools, at least the bigger schools, require that the student has health insurance. So that can be tricky because if they're on your plan here, they have it, and that may meet the school's requirement, which I've seen that happen. But then what happens is the student is in another state, far away, and they're sick. They actually need to go to the doctor and can't go to the student center. One should always use the student center. They can do basic stuff, and it's included in the cost of your tuition. So sometimes they want to file for reimbursement, so they want to know if there's a copay, stuff like that. But if you're out of state, it's probably not going to apply anyway. So they can use the student health center and get some basic stuff done. But if they have something more involved, then they're not going to have coverage. So we have some choices. It really kind of depends on the situation. If the student is healthy, doesn't take any meds, then it's easy. We can just leave them on the existing plan and they'll have ER coverage if something bad happens. But if the child has conditions that are being treated, then we have to look at, do we want to purchase a separate policy for that plan, which could affect your subsidy if you get a subsidy. If you don't get a subsidy, it's not a big deal. It can also, there's some private PPOs that might meet the school requirement that may give some out-of-network benefits, but it really can be very tricky. I mean, if the student is coming back to have their care done, then great. They can get their prescriptions filled here, or a parent can get their prescriptions filled and send them. I mean, there's all kinds of things you can work around it, but it's definitely a consideration when your child is going, especially out of state for school, because people don't think about the health insurance implications of that. So, hop on over to my page, shacapconsulting.com. If you have questions, if you have existing coverage and you've got a student going off to college in the fall, get with me. We'll talk about the options. We may not be able to change things because we're not in open enrollment. Again, it depends, but we'll figure out a solution that will work for you and your student. Until next week, peace out.